In the constant rush of life, have you ever stopped to wonder what it truly means to be? We are always chasing something, ambitions, desires, the next goal. Yet, in all this pursuit, we often overlook the one thing that we actually possess, this moment, right here, right now. What if the answers to our endless quests don't lie in the next achievement, but in the stillness of the present? In this video, we are going to explore the subtle power of mindfulness, the art of simply being present without judgment. You'll discover how the mind's incessant need to label, analyze, and control creates an invisible prison, keeping us from the joy and peace that is always within reach. By letting go of the mind's distractions and surrendering to the now, we unlock a doorway to something deeper, something beyond what the eyes can see or the mind can comprehend. So, before we dive in, I invite you to take a breath, subscribe to the channel, and like this video. Together, we will uncover the mystery of presence and how it holds the key to a life of true freedom. Our minds are constantly pulled in different directions, towards desires, fears, and endless thoughts of what might be or what has been. We drift, lost in a sea of mental noise, forgetting that life is unfolding right in front of us. The present moment slips through our fingers as we grasp for future outcomes or cling to past experiences. Yet the truth is that the only thing we ever truly own is now. The future is an illusion, the past a memory, but the present, it is a gift waiting to be unwrapped. But what does it mean to truly live in the present? It's more than just awareness. It's a subtle shift in how we perceive the world, a shift from thinking to being. Mindfulness calls us to step back from the mind's chatter, to become observers rather than participants in its endless dialogue. It's in this space of stillness that we can reconnect with the essence of life. It's in the simple act of being present, without striving or pushing for more, that we begin to taste true peace. Imagine walking without rushing toward a destination, without mentally listing tasks or judging the world around you. That is mindful walking, a practice that can anchor us to the present moment. Each step becomes deliberate, each breath intentional. As you let go of the need to label what you see and feel, you begin to experience life as it is, not as your mind interprets it. Suddenly, a walk becomes more than a mere task. It becomes a gateway to presence, a gentle reminder that life exists only in this moment. The present moment is elusive, yet it is the only constant. The deeper you connect with it, the more you realize its richness. Life begins to slow down, and in that stillness there is beauty, there is peace. This is the power of mindfulness, to show us that everything we seek is not out there but here, in the space we often overlook. The present moment is not just a fleeting second, it is eternity unfolding before you. We live in a world where our minds are trained to label, categorize, and judge every experience. From the moment we wake up, we subconsciously assign names, meanings, and values to everything we encounter. This constant labeling creates a duality, likes and dislikes, good and bad, right and wrong, and it traps us in a cycle of endless evaluation. We become prisoners of our own perceptions, missing the raw, unfiltered experience of life as it unfolds. But what if we let go of this need to interpret everything? What if, instead of labeling a sensation as pleasant or unpleasant, we simply observed it? To watch without judgment, to witness without the mind's interference, that is where true freedom lies. When we stop imposing our interpretations on the present moment, we allow life to reveal itself in ways we've never imagined. It is like peeling away layers of illusion to uncover the untouched essence beneath. Consider the world of a child who experiences everything as new, without preconceived notions or judgments. They marvel at the smallest things, a leaf, a shadow, a breeze, because they haven't yet learned to categorize them. This childlike wonder is not lost to us. It can be reclaimed when we choose to release the grip of mental labels. In doing so, we create space for the moment to speak to us as it is, without distortion. By observing without judgment, we step into a deeper state of acceptance. We no longer fight against what we perceive as negative or cling to what we believe is positive. Instead, we flow with life, allowing each moment to be exactly what it is. And in that surrender, we find a peace that transcends the mind's limited understanding. We discover that life, in its purest form, is beyond labels. It simply is. We spend much of our lives trying to control, to grasp tightly to the things we desire, to push away the things we fear. But in this endless striving, we overlook a profound truth. The most powerful act we can take is to surrender. Surrendering to the present moment doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the need for constant control and allowing life to unfold as it is meant to. It is an act of trust, a leap into the unknown, where we finally let go of the illusion that we can shape every outcome. True surrender requires a shift in perspective. The mind is conditioned to seek explanations, to endlessly analyze and interpret. It wants certainty and understanding, but the present moment is not something the mind can fully grasp or control. By surrendering, we accept that not everything needs to be understood, that there is a greater wisdom at work, one that our minds cannot always comprehend. We stop fighting the flow of life and instead allow ourselves to be carried by it. In surrender, we find an unexpected gift: peace. When we release our need to control every detail, we stop resisting what is. We become free from the burdens of worry, fear, and disappointment. Life becomes lighter, more fluid, and we begin to experience the joy of simply being without the constant pressure to force things to happen. It is in this state of surrender that we open ourselves to the possibility of true freedom, the freedom that comes when we trust in the unfolding of life itself. The paradox of surrender is that by letting go, we gain everything. We discover that the present moment has a richness we could never have imagined when we were too busy trying to control it. It is in surrender that we find our deepest peace, our greatest joy, and a sense of freedom that comes not from controlling life, but from flowing with it. In this space, life becomes less of a battle and more of a dance, one where we are no longer the choreographers, but the dancers, moving effortlessly with the rhythm of the universe. At the root of much of our suffering lies attachment, the clinging to desires, expectations, and outcomes that we believe will bring us happiness. The mind relentlessly pursues these external validations, convinced that fulfillment lies in the next achievement, the next possession, or the next experience. But the truth is, this chase only deepens our sense of dissatisfaction. The more we attach ourselves to the idea that happiness exists outside of us, the more we become entangled in a cycle of endless wanting. Attachment creates a powerful illusion that we need something beyond the present moment to feel complete. Whether it's a relationship, a material object, or a future goal, we bind our sense of peace to things that are impermanent. And when these things inevitably change or slip away, we suffer. The tighter we hold on, the greater the pain when life doesn't meet our expectations. It's like grasping sand. The harder we squeeze, the more it slips through our fingers. But what if we could loosen our grip? What if, instead of attaching our happiness to external outcomes, we found peace within ourselves, independent of the ever-changing world around us? By letting go of these attachments, we free ourselves from the suffering they cause. We begin to realize that our true source of contentment lies within, not in the fleeting circumstances or objects we once thought essential. In releasing attachment, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of freedom. No longer are we bound by the ups and downs of life, swayed by the ebb and flow of external conditions. We become anchored in something far more stable, an inner peace that remains untouched by the chaos of the world. When we stop clinging, we allow life to unfold naturally, without the pressure of our expectations. And in that space, we discover a joy that is not dependent on anything outside of ourselves. Liberation begins with a simple yet profound realization. Everything in life is impermanent. The world around us, The thoughts in our minds, even our emotions, all are in constant flux. Yet we often cling to them, attaching ourselves to the fleeting in the hope of finding stability. This clinging is the very source of our suffering. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to embrace the transient nature of life and loosen the grip of our attachments. As we start to let go, something remarkable happens. We create space. Space for the present moment to unfold without the weight of our expectations. Space for life to reveal its mysteries, free from the distortions of our desires and fears. This is the path to true liberation, not in the chasing of external goals, but in the letting go of everything that holds us back from experiencing life as it is. The less we try to control, the more we allow life to flow through us, naturally and effortlessly. This path is not about renunciation or withdrawal from the world. It's about engaging with life fully, but without the chains of attachment. We no longer need the world to fit into our narrow definitions of happiness. Instead, we move through life with a sense of openness and curiosity, trusting that whatever comes our way is part of a greater unfolding. In this space of non-attachment, we discover a sense of liberation that cannot be shaken by external events. True peace is not found in avoiding life's challenges, but in surrendering to its impermanence. When we stop resisting change and release our hold on rigid expectations, we experience a deep sense of inner freedom. This is the path to liberation, a journey not of striving, but of surrender. It is a path that leads us back to the simplicity of being, where we find that the peace we've been seeking has always been within us, waiting to be uncovered.